Kevin Samuels passed away, age 56.
Yeah.
I had interviewed him before, one time. Very polarizing figure in the world.
Right.
I never saw so many people celebrate a death as
I
I
know.
saw women celebrating his death.
Yeah, I mean, I know what the internet is saying and the memes and all of that. I wasn't too familiar with him other than I knew that he, his truth was strong cocaine.
Mm.
So it was hard for, I guess, some people to swallow, particularly women, because it was a dose of harsh reality. But I never really followed Kevin like that, But there's plenty of guys who speak that kind of truth and, make people regurgitate. I'm one of them dudes. So, truth is hard to take, man.
Yeah, I mean, because you've been hit with various backlashes over the years based on basically speaking up for men. And, I mean,
I speak up for what's right, so that can include women too.
Right.
But particularly, as our past interviews have gone, men with the whole child support and alimony in the system, which needs a major overhaul.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, the thing with him is that he had different concepts that people had a problem with. One of them was a high value man. So, for example, he said that if a man makes over a certain amount of money and is respected by his peers and so forth, he is considered a high value man, and he has various options and so forth. And a lot of women want high value men, but certain women cannot access them. And that's when sort of the divide starts off, where he's basically went on would go off on, various tirades about how if you're 35 and you have a certain number of kids, you're not really desirable to certain types of men and so forth. It doesn't mean you're not desirable to anybody, but if you're trying to get a guy who's a millionaire, what I'm saying, in your 40s and you're overweight and you got a bunch of kids, you should probably lower your sights a little bit to someone more realistic to you. And that's where a lot of people started having problems and so forth.
Well, I think anytime somebody sees themselves in your words and they already have some internal issues within themselves, that maybe can reflect that kind of truth to them, to make them get upset, because they have to be honest with themselves. They have to look at themselves, and self-reflection is tough to deal with. But I think look, man, it's all a mixed bag of nuts. Like there's a reason why the saying says one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know what I mean? I mean, what you might not see in someone for whatever the reasons you see it, somebody else might see it differently. So, I think the people that probably took issues with what he was saying was already having deep internal issues themselves. And he just maybe kind of forced them to look in the mirror. And again, when you have to look in the mirror and be truthful to yourself, especially because when you are being truthful to yourself, you know what it is. You know what your insecurities are and what hurts you and what makes you feel a certain type of way. You just don't want nobody else to say it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't want to accept that they made some bad decisions when they were younger.
Yeah, we all do.
But they feel that those decisions should not have ramifications when they do. If you decide as a woman to have a bunch of kids early on, that is going to limit you later in life. That's just the reality of it, because, a woman who takes on the responsibility of being a primary parent who may not have, another parent contributing, someone would have to step into that situation and take those kids on as their responsibility as well. And that's not, that's not always ideal for everyone. A person has to realize that.
So it's not easy, but anything can be done.
Anything can be done.
How badly you want it, how important it is to you. People, the one good thing I think about people is we're all internally selfish. And a lot of times we look at what's in our best interest. So if there's something to gain from it, or if it means that much to you, then you find a way. People that don't find a way, it really doesn't mean much to them. Or if they don't see the gain for themselves, then they don't invest 100%. But if you really want it to work, and it might be tough, but to sit there and say that like that's factual, You know, if you're a certain age, you got kids, then you're unattainable. No, that's not true. Might be the road might be tougher for you, but anybody that thinks you're worth it, and that feels that way about you, they'll take on the challenge.